Okay, mic is on. Mic check, mic check, mic check. Hopefully y'all can hear. Also see the screen as well. Looks like it's maximized there. Okay, cool. Welcome. What's going on, Alfredo? What's going on, Davey, Misty, Attorney Cobb, Joe Frank's back in the house. Let's go. Paul, Bucket, Amy Bell's in the house. Daniel King, Tony Footnote. Let's go. What's going on, Zay? Good morning. Hopefully everybody is having a good start to the week. Today being Tuesday, the 19th of 2026. It's May. Springtime is in the air. Hopefully everybody's enjoying that change in season, give or take. I'm your guide, your host, Mr. Blue from TradePhantoms.com, and I'm going to go over, roughly speaking, about an hour, give or take, about pre-market prep. We will go take us into the open 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, so about 40 minutes away, give or take. And if I see any live trading setups, I will execute them with planned, managed risk. Let's kick this off here, get to the good stuff as people are kind of scrambling in. Good morning. What's going on, Jay Boone? What's going on, Michael? What's going on, D Trend? What's going on, K Gola? Back in the saddle. Hopefully you enjoyed it, Joe Frank. Probably refreshed, all tanned up. I'm assuming you're all nice and tan from that vacation up there in Mexico. You need it. Planned economic news today, just real quick, forexfactory.com, nothing too crazy here. We do have 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We do have pending home sales here. I guess it's something to take note of in terms of an impact. It's kind of mid impact, medium impact that's kind of what it is there. Medium impact and kind of orange there. That's about 30 minutes after the market opens, right? 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So yes, of course, if we have some positions open potentially off the open, we can just put this as a note there that could potentially provide some movement liquidity. This market has bigger things on the deck, in the backdrop, of course, versus pending home sales, in my humble opinion. But always in this environment that we are in over the past, I'd say a year and a half, give or take. Anything can happen anytime, right? So that is noteworthy there. And we'll get to the good stuff here, get into the charts. We'll start here with, let me back up first. Get to the charts here. But let me give you some an outlay of the land here, if you will. I bring this document up every single morning here. Of course, at Phantoms, demand and supply, institutional. What's going on, Sammy? What's going on, YT? What's going on, Sky? 1 ounce of theory, I see you. I bring this document up every single morning, no matter what. So demand and supply, IOF, institutional demand and supply, that is how the markets work. And the main strategy at Phantoms, of course, with a top-down multiple time frame analysis, emphasis and or approach. You're going to see 3 colors on my charts: monthly, weekly, daily, orange, yellow, blue. So anything that you see in orange is a monthly time frame association. Weekly time frame is going to be yellow. So for example, last week's high, last week's low. In fact, today, I'm potentially looking at a potential last week's low swipe, down into some levels down in here. We get some positive market maker gamma as well for today's session down in here. We will discuss that. Okay, so real quick, of course, weekly time frame is going to be color code yellow. And as you can see, this is last week's low, hovering down here, 731.89, 83, give or take, on the SPY. Daily time frame is going to get a color code of blue. Yesterday's high, yesterday's low. Off the open, 9:30 a.m. Eastern, you will see me anchor, a VWAP off the open, and that's going to be blue for a daily VWAP. Candlesticks, a bunch of fancy names, bullish. Yes, sir, gained 4 pounds. Yeah, that's normal. That's normal. You'll shave that off easy. You'll shave that off in a couple of sessions, bro. You got that. It sounds like you had a good time. There you go. High time frames. High time frame and location of these candlesticks are going to be more important. Okay, so instead of arguing about the names and what they are, preferably we're going to be looking for these candlestick prints at demand levels, location-wise, in the context of an uptrend. It's going to be the same thing in reverse, just bearish. Preferably context structure downtrend, lower, low, low, high, in the location rallying up into a level of supply. Okay, and then we're going to be looking for these candlestick prints for bearishness there, of course. And of course, we have this thing called the liquidity map. This is definitely something that we need much more time to discuss, which we do in the advanced futures classes here at Phantoms. We have this. We break this down into 4 quadrants: 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, there's going to be 2 actions, buys and sell, that create demand and supply. However, there's 4 possibilities knowing the difference of these orders. Okay, you could be a buyer to enter, which is bullish. Okay, you'd want the market to rally, of course. Now you are a market participant as a willing seller to exit at some point to distribute. Okay, so buy to enter accumulation, sell to exit distribution. If the market's rally, you TP to take, you sell to exit. If the markets are dropping below your demand zone and your thesis to be in, you also sell to take your loss, as you should be doing as a distribution exit order as a loss. However, you can also sell short to enter, which is an accumulation order of a bearish trade. You'd want that market to go down. If it does indeed go down, now you are a market participant as a willing buyer to cover, to exit, okay, to take your profit, okay, as a distribution order. You can also, if you sell short to enter and the markets rally up, okay, it's violating your, say, supply level and it's continuing to go up, well, you buy to cover to exit, okay, to realize your loss, okay, as that market could potentially continue to go up and keep hurting you or losing money. Okay, so you have to buy to cover to exit at some point. We break that down into quadrants 1, 2, 3, and 4. 3 and 2 connected as an uptrend, and we got 1 and 4 connected as a downtrend. And of course, we discussed this, of course, at or in Phantoms classes, specifically the futures class, to be precise. Futures, major 4 indexes. We'll start off clean kind of chart here. We're going to get to the other chart in a moment on TradingView, where we have a bunch of markups and analysis marked up. But just real quick at the S&P daily time frame, upper left futures. What's going on? Mark Wahlberg? What's going on, Sammy Grace? What's going on, Prosper? S&P down what? 0.34% so far pre-market. NASDAQ upper right down 0.61%. We got Dow Jones stuck still flat essentially, or down slightly 0.17%. Russell 2000 okay, down to what 0.54%. Right now the NASDAQ is just relatively more weaker just in the pre-market prep. Okay, we have to put a caveat on that, or an asterisk on that, as the NASDAQ has been relatively stronger, okay, overall on this massive rip with the whole AI and semiconductor talk track back on deck. It kind of calmed down a little bit here coming into this week off of the back of last week, new all-time highs. But if I kind of zoom in on the daily time frame of the S&P here, just a clean daily time frame here, okay. We, long story short, short story long, we spoke about how I was looking at the SPY up there at the 10% tag. Okay, we'll get to the SPY in a moment. The chart itself, the ETF, this is the futures. Okay, daily time frame. We did kind of tag in that vicinity. Okay, I had 47 cents away from getting filled on an SPY 750. Bought put, kind of annoying there. So the point that I'm trying to make here right now is we're off the highs. Okay, so a couple days ago, of course, we had a decent little drop. Okay, on Friday, yesterday being Monday, I kind of dropped down a little bit lower there, nothing crazy. And you put in a little bit of a doji bar there, if you will, wick here, wick there, kind of small body range here. Okay, and then here's today's candle, of course, and we're still inside of yesterday's high and yesterday's low. So we had, one bigger down day so far. Okay, being on Friday, which is the 15th here, coming off the all-time highs. A couple of key things here, just to kind of take away from here right now. It's also always referencing that 20 pip moving average, which is right there. Okay, now that comes in at about 7306, give or take, 05, give or take, and that would be below this 7337, which is kind of a random Friday's low, which is Friday, May 8th. Okay, so it's a daily low from the 8th of May, and the reason why I'm kind of bringing that up is because it is a daily low, okay, and it is an impulse, a basing, and an impulse here. Okay, now we already kind of came into this level here. We popped out. Okay, yesterday we came into this level again. If I kind of draw that whole basing, right, we have impulse, basing, impulse. Okay, we are in this, that level of demand there. Okay, we already tagged that here. We kind of dipped into it yesterday. So today, what I'm looking for, and I even put this on the TradePhantoms Excel sheet for the team. Okay, ES. Okay, limits buy at 73.55 with a stop loss 73.25. Okay, you'll see that in a moment. Okay, that is going to be below this last week's low. Okay, so this is last week's low right now, team, 7363.25, that yellow line in there. In the event that we swipe below last week's low, okay, I'm looking at around this daily low for a potential liquidity sweep potentially today. Okay, when I drop down to the other timeframes, when I go to the TradingView chart, I should say, I will drop down to the smaller timeframes. Okay, and you'll see some refinement. Okay, within this level here. Okay, of course we have yesterday's high. We always reference that, and of course we have the all-time high 75.40. Okay, Nasdaq futures daily time frame here. Okay, again down 0.63%. What's going on, Maurice? Stupid ads. Yeah, don't need footnotes. Kind of annoying on YouTube sometimes. We got this last week's low right here on NASDAQ. Okay, 28,741.25. Okay. Also referencing this Friday's low wide range bar here. There could be a sweep potentially here today, team. Okay. I got this 20 pip moving average coming in at 28,304. Okay. Now on the NASDAQ, you'll see this in a moment. The level, I should say, that, I did kind of put this on the dock as well, 28,660. Okay. So basically 28K, 660, and then 28K, 495 is a stop loss here. Okay. So I got 660, which is about right here, give or take. So it's going to be below last week's low, okay, of the 741 handle, okay, with a stop loss, below this at 28,490. So, I do have my stop loss right below this, this daily low there. I gave some wiggle room and some space there, okay, but I'm looking to see if we can get below a last week's low. There's going to be a little IOF level of demand right in there to see if we can get a bit of a potential sweep. Okay, now I got to put my stop loss somewhere, so I did give it some space here. So 28K 495. I put it at least 5 points below that even number of 28K 500. Okay, so there could be a bit of a sweep there. I'm hoping that we don't get stopped out as a sweep there. Okay, but the smaller time frames, when I drop down, you'll see the levels there in a moment. Of course, we're going to reference yesterday's high. That's all mapped out. All-time high 29,780 up there. Okay, and we're going to get to the other chart right now to drop down to refine. Before I do that, however, I will say we got the just give you the lay of the land, especially for some new folks in here. I use Thinkorswim to trade options. Okay, I got monthly time frame on the left. We got monthly on the left here. Monthly on the left, weekly in the middle, daily on the right. Monthly, weekly, daily. Yeah, massive bull put spread lower down there, Mark Wahlberg. Monthly, weekly, daily. Okay. Super important there. High time frames there. However, we're going to drop down on the 60-minute time frame here, upper left. 30-minute time frame here, bottom left. I'm using this as the intermediate time frame. We got a 5-minute here in the middle and a 2-minute time frame here on the right. Okay. So can't stress this enough. Monthly, weekly, daily. Okay. And then we get the 6-minute, 30-minute, 5-minute, 2-minute here. Multiple time frame analysis starting from the high time frames, dropping down to the small time frames. All right, now get back over into the S&P futures. Okay, just real quick here. I got 28 minutes before the market open, and this is where I like to start off, as we mentioned there, or as I just did, on the kind of cleaner chart there on Thinkorswim, and this is where we have a bunch of markups here. Okay, so a little bit more intense, if you will, off the markups here. Get a weekly time frame on the left. Again, last week's high there, last week's low there. Super important to reference. Okay, I got a daily time frame here on the right. All right, but I'm going to just switch this down to a daily so we can kind of get a bit more refined here. I'll put that on the left. And I'm going to drop down to a 60-minute time frame here on the right. All right. And we got Joe Frank, nice 30-minute demand. Maybe some juice left with Confluence. The SPX 35, 30 handle credit spread. Yes, indeed. The team is on this market maker game. There's a massive bull put credit spread down in here at the anchored at the 73.30. We're definitely going to get to that. Indeed, for sure. Okay, so mapping out yesterday's high, yesterday's low. Okay, last week's high, last week's low. Getting to the point here real quick. Okay, now I'm on a 1 hour time frame. 1 hour time frame here on the right. And real quick, we're going to map out what's called the overnight or the Globex high. Okay, that's going to be represented by this kind of a turquoise blue line. And I got a note there: Globex high, Globex low. There's the overnight high. There's the overnight low. And one of the things that we're going to be doing here is looking below. Well, first of all, identifying what the overall context and trend is. We are still in a macro, bigger picture, okay, uptrend. Okay, even though we've been down a little bit, we just had 1 or 2 days down, if you will. If I look at the monthly, if I do look at the weekly and I look at the daily, okay, we're still in a massive uptrend here. Okay, now noteworthy on that, what we're going to be looking for is below the Globex low. We're looking for ideally we want to look for a prime level of demand. Okay, below the Globex low. So there's the Globex low. If I do look down and left, we have a level of demand, but this is already been tested several times, right? So we have this impulse basing impulse. We tested there. We even tested there yesterday as well, team, 73, 76. We had this level on for quite some time. Okay, that was the first test down there. We even came down overnight on Sunday evening back into this level. NASDAQ filled one of the orders that we had planned, okay, on the Excel sheet. I even put that in there as well. That got filled, team. Okay, I even took that personally there in my personal account as well. Okay, I didn't manage to put the orders in on the prop account. I have these two here in the prop account, these two orders that are on the dock here, these two there. Okay, you'll see that in a moment here. Okay, but the Globex low there. Okay, below yesterday's low, I'm looking for potentially a last week's low potential swipe. That's what I was mentioning there on the other chart, the cleaner chart. Below here, got 73.55. Okay, so I'm using this as a demand level for a G trap potentially today. Okay, so that comes in 73.55. And if you notice, this is going to be the same one. If you are a Phantom member, this is going to be this one here, 73.55 with a stop loss of 73.25. There's some targets in there. This is pending. Okay, so this is going to be potentially good here for today. And again, I got my stop loss where we put it at. I put it at the 73.25. Okay, so 73.55, stop loss 73.25, which is right down here. Okay, so you can see I'm kind of taking this whole area of demand here. I'll just put this to represent the stop loss. All right, so 73.55, 73.25. All right, now this level was developed. Okay, and by the way, just real quick, if I go to this, position size did accordingly. All right, I don't have enough time to do it right now. Okay, but there's the clean chart here. All right, where I got a limit order in here, 73.55. Okay, with a stop loss 73.25. Okay, so it's about a 30-point risk zone there. Point that in there, chart risk, and I think I put about $600 of risk on this. Okay, so I was able to do 4 micro contracts here. Entry, stop loss, 30 points of risk. Okay, risking $600 out of the 50K account. Okay, 30 points of risk allows the number of contracts, position sizing, 4 contracts. That's represented right there. Entry, stop loss, got a couple targets right there. All right, and again, that's in the Excel sheet. That's what I kind of put right there on the dock. Okay, so just drawing the parallels to everything there. All right, nice clean chart there. All right, now if I do go back here real briefly, the way that this level was developed, or when this level was developed, all right, was roughly about the close of May 7th. Okay, now check this out. Joe Frank already helped us out with this already. What I'm doing is I'm taking that S&P futures level, or it should be reverse. Really, I'm looking at SPX first and foremost, and then I'm confluencing it with the S&P futures. Okay, but it's about right down in here. Okay, that 55 level is roughly speaking about the SPX 73.30 handle. Okay, so I'm going to go a bit ahead here now, team. Okay, I'm going to go a bit ahead, but if I'm looking at this level here, yeah, to Phantoms members, Bob, yes. Are you talking about this Excel? That is available for, that's something that I built just real quick for position sizing, for scaling and position sizing appropriately. That is available to members only. And then, of course, yes, I mean, this is the Excel sheet for Phantoms members only. So, yes, it's for Phantoms. All right. Now, this level down in here, okay, this is the May 7th. Okay, this is roughly the S&P futures level. So this is roughly ES. What was it? The 73.55, right? Level. All right. Now we're going to be, there's a pre-market quote of the SPY here. Right, close there. We have a gap down slightly of what, 0.5%. If I bring that back over to the SPX, check this out. Implied open, about 0.5% down, lower, give or take, takes us into about 73.65 as an implied open here. Okay, now I'm going to go to this. This is going to be an advanced concept here, but this is a tool This is not this is not, I'm sorry, this is not Phantoms, but this is just a tool. This is a paid service. I pay for it. Some of the team has this as well. We're not affiliated with them or anything like that. It's a great tool, nice, easy, organized way. In green. Whoa. Mic check. Something has happened in the restream here. Hopefully y'all can still hear and see. Let me know. Looks like restream refreshed its own self. Recording still on. Hopefully y'all are good. All right, implied open, give or take 73.65-ish. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in a bit closer to what we have kind of on dock here. So let me just zoom in first and foremost if I could. That should be good enough here for today. Okay, so 73.65-ish. Looks like we're good. You're back, Professor. All right, so implied open, roughly speaking, about right here. Okay, to the left of this vertical axis is sold options from the market maker's perspective. Okay, sold options are going to create red color shades on the heat map to the left of gamma, and yellow and reds. Okay, so I don't see too much of that over here. To the right of this, okay, is going to be bought options from the market maker's perspective, and that's going to create green and blue kind of shades. Okay, and nodes. Now we do have a class on this, of course. This is definitely an advanced heavy topic. Positive gamma, stable, plenty of liquidities. Market makers are selling into highs and buying into lows. Creates a kind of quote unquote stable market, if you will. Negative gamma is unstable. The opposite. Okay, where we have market makers accelerating. Okay, as markets are going up, they have to buy into highs. As markets going down, they have to sell. Okay, into lows, which could accelerate price action up and down. Now, today we have a bit more of a positive gamma regimen here, if you will. A couple of key takeaways. One of the main ones, okay, is going to be, of course, down here. So even though we're opening up at about 73.60, which is about right here, now we do have a bit of, positive gamma, not super massively big, but 73.55, and we have 73.50. Okay, so I do want to put 73.50, which is also going to be right below yesterday's low, team. Okay, so that's very important to know, because right below yesterday's low, okay, we do have a level of demand right there. Okay, right there as well in the context of an uptrend. We also have this month's VWAP, team. Okay, even though we're off the highs, okay, this is this month's VWAP. We're have a deeper, bit of a correction. Okay, so that's normal there. We have not even broken any kind of structure or anything like that. This is still why I'm looking to pick off potentially some G-trap bullish longs. Okay, down into here. Okay, so there is a bit of a positive gamma node right below yesterday's low. Now, because that's below price, that's going to be used as some demand. Okay, that comes in at about 73.50. All right, I'll put a green line there. Now, that's not even the bigger one. The team is mentioning this. So below this, okay, we have this massive, okay, this is going to be a bull put credit spread. Okay, so this is a sold put wall, but it's a bought put wall from the market maker's perspective. Anyways, in English, 73.30, and I'll even start here at 73.35. We have a massive positive gamma node down below here. This is pretty big, okay? So if I just put even starting here out at 30 and or 35, which is right there, and 30, okay? That's also going to be confluenced, okay, with that G trap on the S&P futures, okay, that we just kind of planned and mapped out. So this would be below yesterday's low and last week's low, and y'all know I love those monthly and weekly and daily, okay, low swipes, okay? So we got some confluence here, if you will. I'm going to put this green, okay, due to it being positive gamma below price, and market makers will be looking to buy, okay, into that to hedge their books. Okay, so this is going to be roughly the ES, okay, the ES G trap, which is, oh my God, how do I not memorize this price by now? Jeez, how many times do I have to go back here? 73.55, right? All right, so we got some confluence there. All right, so definitely noteworthy there. Now above price. All right, we have a, we're going to be opening up about 73.65, give or take, above price. This kind of sticks out 7375 as a positive gamma node. Anything kind of above there, that's kind of negative. We actually are in a bit of a, you're going to be opening up roughly here inside of a little bit of a negative gamma regime. We have a bit of a positive below us and a positive above. So I'm going to map out that 7375 above price. Now that's above. Okay, so that could be used as some market maker supply. Whoops. Which is going to be 75 handle about right here, give or take. All right, that would be above, of course, yesterday's high and, of course, Monday's high as well. So that could be, this would be stretched up here a bit for today's session, give or take, relatively speaking. So this could be used as a quick little if long UTP. I'm not sure if I want to short that. As we're getting above these hammer bars here, that'd be not a swing short, but definitely something where you could take maybe a pick off, give or take. All right, I got to move on here. NASDAQ futures. Try to do this a bit quicker. Our 1 hour time frame here. For what it's worth, okay. You know, I ended up taking this here, the 29,990, 991 was it? Okay, I had an entry there, you know, stop loss. This got filled at Sunday evening, about 9 o'clock, give or take. Okay, 9 o'clock, 8, 9 o'clock. Then we ended up hitting target 1, target 2. Target 3 was just a little bit above there, almost tagged that, ended up getting stopped out of break even after target 2. So I don't know if y'all took that trade, but this was a nice little pending order that we had kind of pinned there. Okay, so whatever, we'll put that over there to the left. All good. Now today, okay, we have a Globex high here today, Globex low, highlighted by that turquoise color there. Okay, of course, we have yesterday's high, yesterday's low. Again, we got last week's low here, team. Okay, I don't want to switch the time frames right now, but we get this last week's low, 28K 742, give or take. Okay. Now, if we break below the Globex low and yesterday's low and last week's low, we have an impulse, basing impulse. That level got tagged right there, which was great. Okay, we had that prepared, which was awesome. Okay, that was last week. And then if we were to break this weekly low, last week's low right there, okay, we do have a bit of a drop, but basing a nice little rally out of here. Okay, so I do have this pinned at 28,660 with a stop loss 28,495. Okay, I also kind of put this on the Excel sheet for the team as well. Okay, so if I kind of put this side by side, this equals this, if you will. Okay, so 28,660 right here, 1 hour time frame. Okay, developed at the 7th of May. Okay, give or take. It's going to be that SPX equivalent level there. Okay, stop loss 28,495, which is right below there. Okay, so this whole area here, looking for a last week sweep into this level of demand. You know, I got my stop loss, some wiggle room below that next daily low right there. So I gave it some space there. All right, now if I look over here, just kind of a clean chart. All right, here's the just micros here. There's that demand zone in question here. Now, this also is a test, okay, to hit over here. So, you know, this is not the greatest Primus level in the world. All right, because this is the impulse basing impulse right here. This is the actual test here. But because this popped out so great in popping out into a new higher high here, okay, and we're setting up just the last week's low right there. Okay, this could be used as a nice little G trap here for today. Okay, so this is NASDAQ. Okay, so what I did here is, you know, how many points of risk was this, give or take. So entering 28,660, stop loss 28,495, about 165. I think I put in another $660 of risk here. Okay, so the risk on this is 165. so NASDAQ. Micros, do 2 contracts there. Boom, boom, stop loss. You got a target up there. Okay. All right, so we'll see if we got this last week's low swipe. All right, this is the last week's low swipe. So this is setting up decent for a G trap last week's low swipe. Let's see if we can get that potentially here. If you notice as well, this is also going into that random kind of Friday, May 8th bar, which we had a nice little pop out there. Okay, and I got to put my stop loss somewhere there, so I got it some wiggle room below that level. All right, did I cover futures? Did I? And I did that slow. All right, VIX. Where you at, VIX? A lot more to this. The volatility complex. What's going on? I can't even read that name, but good to see you, my man. VIX down, market up. VIX up, market down. Okay, inverse correlation. Microsoft's in play today. Relative strength. Let's see. Volatility index, 30-day implied vol of the S&P future, S&P SPX, I should say. A lot more to this, but map out the overnight high, overnight low in VIX. We just did that in the S&P and NASDAQ futures. If this thing wants to move, there we go. Okay, and what you just need to understand, just to keep it as simple as possible, short and sweet. Market, VIX up. If it were to take out the overnight high, that's just a quick spike and then fade lower, but a spike up and kind of trend higher, if you will. That would be more bearish for the market. VIX up, market down. I just always, and I put an ellipse there. I put an ellipse last time I saw it there to kind of keep track. And then I got, here's the overnight low here. And if the VIX kind of remains down, or yesterday VIX, if you look at the daily bar in VIX yesterday, we had a VIX drop a bit there as the markets were, had a down day, if you will. But, nothing crazy there. But if the VIX drops further again today and trends lower, that could be more bullish for the market, right? So always just got to put a pin on that. This is one of the greatest things that we can look for to build probability in our day trading, not only day trading, but also, swing and longer term trading. Okay, but you can notice too, yesterday we had a VIX of 19 on the open, give or take, and we did kind of close down to 1780. Okay, so, if that VIX, remains down or kind of trickles back lower, okay, this market could be bullish today. Okay, in the event that we do take out kind of yesterday's high, it can go up a little bit, but you preferably want to see it up outside bar, or for VIX, you might want to put a note on this. Sub plus or minus 10% is where it gets really juicy, where it would be kind of an outlier, if you will, where kind of quote unquote shit's hit the fan. Okay, or not 10% down, kind of calming down, 10% up. Kind of what's going on in the market. Okay, a bit more bearish. Okay, now we already went over SPYs a bit here. We got 7 minutes before the market opens. So what I'm going to try to do my best to the ability here with the time remaining is go over a couple of gaps on the magnificent 7 SPYs, Qs, and then we'll go into the Mag 7, Apple, Tesla, etc. Microsoft. There's a ton of other tickers out there, team. Yes, if you're new to the channel, but the options are going to be most liquid on the Mag 7. So if you're going to be trading options, you may hate the stock Microsoft, or you may hate, Meta stock. Okay, but the options are liquid, and for your options trading business, they're going to be the most efficient to potentially trade. Tight bid-ask spreads. SPY, weekly time frame on the left. Watch out for this last week's low swipe. We just spoke in that regard. Okay, we got a couple of daily lows down in here as well. Okay, we're kind of rebalancing on monthly VWAP, but we kind of mentioned here. Okay, got a daily low here, daily low here. We already did spend some time kind of intense, okay, mapping out or preparing a level below this last week's low swipe. Okay, we do have a gap down lower here today. We did have a little bit of a hammer bar put in yesterday towards the end of the day. Nothing crazy, still a little bit of a red bar. In the event that we do start to break back above this yesterday's high and I'd say even Friday's high here, just watch out, team. This market could potentially going back up. Right now, we'd still be on what's called the front side, long bullish, picking off down in here. Okay, so on the S&P futures, we mapped that out. SPX, we spoke about this level. Okay, down in here. Okay, on the SPY, you're talking about what, 730, give or take. I'm sorry, 731-ish, give or take. And we also just have to watch out, and this is the same thing in the SPX, okay, right below this daily low swipe as well. Okay, so that's one of the things that we were just kind of mentioning at or around that ES, okay, ES level. Tesla 400, I actually have pending orders in on Tesla at, it's funny you say that, Mark Wahlberg. I got pending orders at 395, 200 daily period moving average there, and an impulse, basically impulse prime level. Okay, I actually have pending orders. I'll share that with y'all a bit later. Actually, let's go now. I have it conditioned. Come on. All right, well, when that decides to come back up, I'll share that. Qs. Close here, gap down at around yesterday's low. Watch out for this last week's low swipe. We just prepared that. Watch out for the QQQ daily low right below last week's low. Got that prepared there as well. Just going to try to push forward here. Apple has been relative strength. Of course, we have a gap down here. Okay, it started to kind of go sideways a bit here. Slight gap down. This might not be one of the ones. A bit more stronger overall. So we have to be careful with that. Now, Amazon, a bit, coming off the all-time highs, a bit of a topping tail there, outside gap from yesterday. All right, this is actually one of the more just relatively weaker ones, just slightly, if you're comparing it to others. We do have an outside gap lower on that. All right, last week's lows right there. It's all wick below here, so just, it could be a swipe below here, but that's relative weaker. I'd want to see what the price action is going to until they have. Microsoft actually has a bit of relative strength right now. So now we still haven't, we took a trade off this last time we were together. Microsoft is showing a bit of relative strength. We've been talking about this wide range bar here off this monthly location down in here. And we're still holding up on its upper third. It is doing a bit of a kind of quote unquote sideways / kind of a flag pattern here, if you will. So, this could be on deck here potentially today. We are gapping outside of prior day highs. All right, now if you look at the weekly, we've been kind of a sideways. Okay, for 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks, we've been just going sideways here. Okay, so yes, it looks like it wants to kind of break and clear here. Okay, but we have to make sure that the intraday tape is still allowing that to be the case and having a setup there. All right, so if I go to, here's Tesla. So I have these conditioned. I have the 415 strike call for Friday's expiration conditioned. These are conditioned to Tesla 495 stock price. Okay, so if we get down to 395. If Tesla gets down to 395, okay, I'm looking to pick up these 415 strike calls, okay, for Friday's expiration. All right. So Microsoft definitely on deck here today, but we have to make sure that the intraday tape kind of unravels decently there. Google had a nice open yesterday, putting a new all-time high, bit of a topping tail there. Google's arguably one of the strongest stocks right now in the Mag 7, so be careful shorting this bad boy here. Off the open yesterday was a nice trade. Yes, a bit of a wick there, topping tail. That still might not be one to short. You might want to short some relative weaker stock. We got Meta, annoying. I'm not going to touch this thing. I'm not even going to waste our time. The vid, we got earnings tomorrow, but there's the bell. Probably going to sell some vol on this. There's the bell, so I'm going to switch this to a daily on the left, a 2-minute on the right. All right, we got Microsoft as one of the outliers. Be patient here. Pulling a view up here. Apple, Microsoft. Apple's still going to be kind of the quote unquote go-to. Jumpy. Broadcom doing a wide range bar potentially. Amazon a wide range bar lower. Microsoft giving up of the open here. Microsoft is not giving the wide range bar off open. We got Apple doing it here. Amazon relative weakness, but we're at last week's low swipe, so I want to be a little patient with that. But Amazon's definitely one that would be relative weakness off open. We got NVIDIA and AVGO kind of painting a wide range bar here. Apple giving a setup there. All right, so I'm going to snag some Apple long calls here. It's just going to be the easy go-to for right now. Microsoft giving out today's so just do the 20th expiration. Let's keep it simple. Pick up the 300 strike call. Apple. All right. Okay, so this is tomorrow's expiration, day trade, long call. All right, let me get it over here in this account. All right, 300 strike. All right. All right, nice nice pop on Apple. All right, we can already TP some here. All right, TP some Apple here. All right, TP. Apple looking good. TP's in. Blues are buys, red are sells. We got yesterday's highs somewhat up here. So we'll see if we can try to get some TPs here. All right, so just make sure you get some TPs laid out here. Heck, you can even maybe throw some limit orders in here. $1.70, $1.50. On the premium. We're getting a video cranking. Let me take some more profit here on this real quick. 5-6 minutes on the open there. That's the video looking juicy, baby. Anybody already snag into the vid here? AVGO looking juicy. Apple equal to high. The vid's already kind of gunning here. Implied vol is up on this, so you got to be extremely careful. AVGO looking good too. Clearing that red. This is probably going to have residual. So if you wanted to grab some NVIDIA, maybe the 227.5, these are going for about what, 560 give or take. All right, so looking decent. You're going to battle implied vol. The options contracts are a bit more expensive. All right, Qs are have a nice clip up. Filling the gap right now though. MU. Semis are being lifted. MU. How's the spread on MU? Number one stock here. Pick up some Qs. Yeah, NVIDIA earnings are pumping these IVs up. Yeah, this IV is nuts. This IV's nuts. It has a bullish setup though. Let's see where the NASDAQ Apple equal to high. So let's see what the NASDAQ futures are coming up into here. Crowd. Kind of mid-range on Globex. Apple new high. We got a TP some. All right, Apple made a new high on day. So I'm going to take some more off here. What's ideal IV? There's no such thing as like an ideal IV. Everything's relative to Bob. Everything's relative to the stock, right? So, like right now, Nvidia is at a 50 IV, and that's relatively high. 50 IV is high in Nvidia, but that could be low in, say, like a stock like AT&T, right? Or vice versa. So it's not. You have to compare implied volatility. You have to compare it. If that makes sense. So you can see S&P, NASDAQ futures did not really clear much there. Amazon, Apple is doing its thing in terms of relative strength there. Markets are a little heavy still. Amazon's one of the weaker ones. It's on its, we got Apple. We got making another new high on Apple. Kind of, just spiked up on Apple. Yeah, Bob. It's kind of like somebody's like, "Hey, what's hot to you? Like, what's the temperature that's hot?" Some people, if you grew up in a very, very, very warm climate, Arizona, hot might be 100 plus. If you grew up in Canada, hot might be 70 degrees. So, kind of relative. Implied vol. All right, so we do have SPYs kind of breaking down a bit, but not much. And I kind of wish we were kind of at a level. Amazon, Meta, relative weakness. All right, I typically don't like to do this at or around the prior day's lows, but we do have this bar here that just got put in. So we could try to make an aggressive, this is going to be an aggressive bought put. We have to be careful here. I mean, we got VIX on an uptick, nothing crazy. But let me just update this. And then we got a bit of a positive gamma below here, 73.50. Nothing crazy here. I still am not even really sold on this. But we could potentially take try to find a low risk trade. I got to be extremely careful with this. Hold this on a tight leash, if you will. Today's expo, just go kind of at the money here, give or take. Maybe 733. I'll go 732, slight delta out of the money here. I'd say position size light on this, extremely light, extremely light, extremely light. Okay, this is a 732 strike put. If I were to buy this, this would be bearish. Okay, but if you hold on, let me give you some kind of risk on this. Copy this code, bring it over here. Apple spiking new highs, baby. And This is a 732 strike put, okay? We're going to go a little bit of light size. We're very close to yesterday's low. We have a baby positive gamma node below us. All right, so tread lightly here. Apple, got to TP some more. Microsoft getting interesting now. Filled the gap, and we're having a nice reaction off of that. Interesting. All right, bot put is bearish, light. What was the 732? Strike put light size. Didn't manage to peel out more. All right, so if we make it, I was going to say, if we make a new daily low, we can start to TP. Okay, that's happening now. Okay. So we got it here. You can TP, let go of some here if you like. All right. I have to wait. Somebody was mentioning crowd. Anybody snag some TPs here? Shit, I didn't get it in my other account. That's not good. Yesterday's low. All right, Microsoft might be doing something here for us now. Yeah, you mentioned crowd. I'm sure the options, I mean, I could be wrong. The options might not be as liquid. Microsoft now giving a bit of not because we pull back a bit here now, right? We just reclaimed daily VWAP. Still slightly heavy here. It's still inside of this range team. So, heck, you might even want to maybe even potentially look at not just 0 DTE, maybe even using this pullback because we're trying to clear up here. I'd want to see some intermediate positive CRGs begin to develop. But for a day trade, setting up here now. All right, so just for now, if I were to do the 20th here of May, long call bullish Microsoft here, I can even just pick up maybe the 432 half here. It expired tomorrow. So this is Microsoft. I got to TP some more Apple new high. Excuse me. This is Microsoft long call 432 half. TP some Apple. We got a TP some Apple. VIX kind of calming down. I keep on messing up, not messing up, but I keep on missing some really good shots too. I gotta put some limit orders up there. I keep on missing these 730, 740 hitters on Apple. Kind of annoying. It's my own fault. I got to watch out with those spy puts. This is an Apple TP. Microsoft, fairly ugly chart here. So it didn't give us the setup off the open here, 2-minute bar here, right? Wick there, laid off of it, came down, essentially filled the gap, right? Wide range bar here, VWAP reclaim, got long call here. Does that make sense after the pullback? Just being patient with it. All right. You know, whatever. Now, if you did manage to grab Microsoft, you know, you can TP here. You can take some off here. All right. You know, nothing crazy. I do have a meeting at 10 o'clock, so I'm not going to be able to spend as much time with you folks here on the tube here. I mean, that's usually the time, roughly speaking, that would be whatever. The Tesla. Netflix trying to go. Still have these calls on May expiration. I should have rolled these. Visa has decent swing setup. Visa has a decent swing setup. ARM. Good job, Bob. SPYs looking like I have to trickle to the bullish side here on the SPYs here too. All right, get out of those puts. Logging in some SPYs. Pick up the 736. All right, get out of those puts. Apple pulling back. I'm going to grab these calls first. I got a small size in the other here. So this is going to be SPY long call. The 736. Much prefer that level to get swiped lower. Still potentially could. Jesus Melendez. This is my first time watching this live session. Beautiful. Think I'm sexy? Call me beautiful, beautiful. I'm weird today. Slow. All right, I do gotta get out of these puts. However, I mean, I could probably even keep those on, to be honest with you, and straddle this here. To be honest. Let me just see. Yes. Oh shit. It's 7. Almost done. All right. So far all we did was just kind of swipe below yesterday's low, rebalance VWAP. Got long. What, 730 was it 7 strike? All right, I'll cut those puts. 732 is going to be all the way down here, so I probably have to recalibrate them anyways. But it could be chopped today. Just watch out. $7,385 is the. I mean, it's all negative gamma above team. And negative below. We got a little gamma in our 75 handle. Suppressive charm below. 736. AMD, Tesla getting down to that 395 area there. Tesla down, Meta up. Google on a walk down today, but that's a hard, bearish trade. Tesla new low. Apple, Microsoft pushing back. So, I mean, Apple is still going to be one of the relative strength plays here. I'd probably wait for, I still got a couple cons on these contracts, but I'd probably wait for, we already got to pull back below VWAP. If this kind of sets up and you start to get some, positive COGs back above over here, that could potentially be a play. Because right now we got markets, for right now, slightly heavy. I'd say that with an asterisk of not super heavy down. So this is going to be a bullish trade, relative strength. Obviously when markets are just coming down a bit here. All right, but this would be one. If the S&P and Nasdaq kind of catch a bid later today, right? Because we could still swipe lower in G trap, right? And then they it catches like a bid. Microsoft, Apple would be one to go to, but you might want to have a setup, okay, what's called the backside, if that makes sense. This is why, I didn't even really cut, albeit very small size on the bot put, but I didn't even cut those, so I'm kind of straddling the S&P, at least for right now, which is kind of annoying. Unfortunately, it's 10 o'clock. I got to jump into a meeting. I would usually spend a little more time here, especially with the tape here today. Just remember, I do got a Tesla trade that, so you got to be careful with these SPY calls and these SPY puts. Very annoying, at least for right now, very choppy. This Tesla, yeah, Mark Wahlberg. Their condition, it's the Friday expiration, so that's going to bring us to the May 22nd. Okay. And then, so I got the 415 strike, okay, conditioned to Tesla getting down to 395, which would be about $65 cheaper. So you're probably looking at maybe, roughly speaking, about $220 to about maybe $140. So this would be kind of the range here, if you will, for these 415 strike calls. What days of the week are you live? Tuesday, Thursdays on YouTube, and then I run the trade room on Wednesday and Fridays for the Phantoms members, where we go a lot more in detail, and of course we trade multiple hours in the live trade room. Gotta watch out for those SPY calls. It's kind of annoying. Okay, kind of bit on that. That's why I still get those puts. All right, but unfortunately, I'm 2 minutes late to a meeting there. All right, we're very close to that 95 handle, give or take, on Tesla. It's going to probably be a little bit of a chop here in the morning, so just be careful here. Okay, the better levels, if you kind of want to be patient and wait, I'd suggest to potentially see if you can get that swipe below there on that level. That's all recorded, so you can check that out. I got to manage this straddle that I'm doing here on SPYs. Apple, Microsoft, decent trade there. I got to manage position size accordingly on that. So if you want to kind of check this out, we got TradePhantoms.com. If you go to that link, you would click on the register bar. Yep, no problem, Joe Frank. And Thursday, May 21st, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 2 days from now. Of course, name, email, number. You click attend to get registered for about a 90-minute, maybe almost 2-hour class hosted by the Mr. Black or the Mr. Green. Here's an agenda topic, how markets work. We're all professional traders here. I mean, heck, we have people in here that have been here for years now that are operating at a very high professional caliber these days. People doing it for their full-time jobs, a couple years at Phantoms, picking up some good knowledge, education, and skill set, right? So if you're just starting out trading for income, all good. If you're at the wealth management age, retirement, managing wealth, we get everybody managing. We got people all the way managing wealth, all the way to just starting out kind of high school-ish. So come one, come all, doesn't matter. Small accounts, bigger accounts, not just stocks, futures, forex, options, even crypto. Okay. So come check it out. You see what Phantoms is all about first. We're going to just tell you how it is from a professional side. Okay. We're not for everybody, and everybody's certainly not for us. Preferably more serious people, okay, not just somebody just kind of call them tourists. I'm just going to hear, like, check it out. Preferably like people that are going to be more serious and looking at this at a higher level caliber, etc., taking yourself to the next professional level. If that sounds like it's something of interest, you can check it out. If not, I don't give a shit. We're still going to continue to do what we need to do with the Phantoms group and train and trade. And that said, I'm out. God bless. I'll see some of y'all later today, God willing. In the class, we got futures today, and we'll take from there. It's the beginning of the week, so let's continue to lock in. Price action a little choppy on the indexes, so be patient. Pick your spots. Don't overtrade. Believe me, there's going to be other days that are going to be a lot easier and simple to unravel. That said, God bless. Take care. Blue out. Trade safe.